money moves, justice follows. Arctic Frost Fallout. In theaters now.
President Trump just detonated a political earthquake that has the deep state running for cover. 77 pardons issued to Americans targeted under Operation Arctic Frost. Biden's secret witch hunt that makes Watergate look like jaywalking. Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, Sidney Powell, all pardoned. Florida's Attorney General launching criminal probes into J.P. Morgan for helping Jack Smith debank Trump media. The kicker? Trump media didn't even exist during January 6th. Representative James Comer says the evidence shows this weaponization could be worse than Watergate. Over 400 Republicans secretly subpoenaed, and now Obama's crawling out of the shadows, warning America about autocracy because he knows what's coming. The frost is melting fast, so don't miss this. And just like the deep state's frozen grip on justice is finally thawing, your body's collagen production freezes up as you age. But there is a solution that actually works. In a groundbreaking clinical trial, women who took 2.5 grams of collagen peptides daily experienced a 25% reduction in eye wrinkle depth in just 8 weeks, 9% improvement in skin elasticity, 29% boost in hydration. While the establishment's lies unravel, you can rebuild your skin's foundation with BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen, 5 premium types working together to restore what time takes away. For a limited time, get 51% off at healthwithgary.com, plus free VIP coaching for life, a free skin nutrition guide, and free shipping. Visit healthwithgary.com and reclaim your youth today. Now, Lindsey Graham, November 9th, 2025. From the Russia collusion hoax to the Arctic Frost operation, there was a calculated effort. Lindsey Graham with Maria Bartiromo. Here's
to liberalism.
Video.
He's a threat to the status quo. Look at what Strzok and Page said in 2016. Surely to God he won't win. He should lose $100 million to nothing. These are the people in charge.
Let's just go to the, there we go.
He's a threat to liberalism. He's a threat to the status quo. Look at what Strzok and Page said in 2016. Surely to God he won't win. He should lose $100 million to nothing. These are the people in charge. James Comey was told by the CIA, we have intel that Clinton is behind the idea that Trump's a Russian agent. He never told the FISA court that. The man who gave the Steele dossier provided the information, recanted to the FBI in January of 2017, and they still got warrants against Carter Page, acting like he was part of a conspiracy with Trump to help Russia. He's a threat.
The calculated effort to destroy President Trump is completely falling apart. Here are the Arctic Frost targets. Yep. President Trump issuing pardons to Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, Tyler Bauer, Sidney Powell, Jeffrey Clark, and several others. Here is the list. Doesn't look like an auto pen signature on that, does it? Nope. That looks like a authentic President Trump signature, but this is an astonishing list. You can see some of the names here. For any conduct relating to their efforts to expose voting fraud. This includes, but is not limited to, look at this. Look at all these names. President Trump. There's Sidney Powell. You know, she was up in front. A lot of that. Here's some more names. Wow. Jeffrey Clark. Wow. Bill Feehan, Carolyn Fisher, Harrison Floyd, Clifford Frost, Kay Goodwin, Rudolph Giuliani, Mark Hennessy, David Hanna. Wow, look at all these names. All these names. President Trump, boom, issuing the pardons to all those folks. And here we have James Comer showing Arctic frost and Biden-era law enforcement weaponization could be more serious than Watergate ever was, posting this 10 hours ago. He says, we only know Democrats weaponized the law against Republicans, including President Trump, because Congress exposed it. It must never happen again. Listen.
And when you listen to Democrats talk about Watergate, you listen to college professors talk about Watergate, the liberal media talk about Watergate, they all describe Watergate as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, abuses of power by the federal government ever, especially to spy on your political opponents. Well, what that judge authorized dwarfs anything that Richard Nixon may have done back in the Watergate days. I mean, this was a very organized spying ring to try to hurt Donald Trump. This is proof the deep state's real, and the deep state isn't just bureaucrats that work in these intelligence agencies. It's also liberal judges and left-wing media outlets that all conspire together. The judges sign the warrants. The deep state issues the warrants. They spy on the Republicans and the conservatives and President Trump, and then they leak to the media disparaging comments to try to create false narratives. So I think this judge should be held accountable.
Chairman, my senators from Tennessee were swept up in that, so I completely understand where you're coming from. Turning now to another scandal, there are a lot of them. A federal grand jury has subpoenaed John Brennan, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page as part of the DOJ's investigation into the origin of the Trump-Russia hoax. This comes as new documents in the case against James Comey reveal he emailed extensively with his friend about Hillary Clinton, even saying she will be, quote, grateful for the decisions once she becomes president. Congressman, are there additional documents out there that the public hasn't seen?
Well, I'm sure there are. I've always had the theory that a lot of these deep state actors that have gone after President Trump and other conservatives, they tend to destroy evidence on the way out the door when you switch administrations. But at the end of the day, I think more and more evidence will serve us now that we have a good Department of Justice and a good FBI director and good officials like Tulsi Gabbard and John Radcliffe that are trying to shine daylight on all the darkness and corruption that the Democrats and their operatives have created over the past decade. So I think that this is another example of where these deep state bureaucrats conspire with the left-wing media to create false narratives to hurt Republicans. That's what Russiagate was. There never was Russian collusion. That was a fake liberal narrative that was created by the Hillary Clinton campaign team, that was amplified by not only the deep state left-wing bureaucrat activists in the FBI and the Department of Justice, but their allies in the liberal media. So I think the American people hopefully will understand what President Trump's gone through with all of these hoaxes. This is probably the root of a lot of his frustration. I know the president's very frustrated a lot and says things that some people may not like, but they're true. And what we're doing now is not retribution, it's accountability. And I applaud the Department of Justice for bringing more information to light, and hopefully some of these people will be held accountable.
And that's what those subpoenas are exactly for. 48 hours ago, Biden DOJ issued 200 secret subpoenas in Arctic Frost investigation, gathering credit reports and bank records, targeting real Donald Trump lawyers, Mark Meadows, the Conservative Partnership Institute, and more. Here is Judicial Watch 48 hours ago.
Over nearly 200 subpoenas. Everybody and their mother was targeted here. Conservative Partnership Institute, Mark Meadows, Cleta Mitchell, Justin Clark, the president's lawyers, other lawyers. They were targeting lawyers and trying to get confidential communications with lawyers, John Eastman, all of the president's top people, with outrageous bank record subpoenas, secret credit reports. They were secretly spying on these people. Now, the left likes to pretend, oh, no, this wasn't spying because they're just gathering records. No, when they are secretly gathering records on you, that's spying.
Yeah, pretty clearly that is spying. Mary Margaret Olohan, 9 hours ago, Attorney General James Uthmeier informs J.P. Morgan Chase that he is investigating its cooperation with the Biden administration's Arctic Frost probe, citing grave concerns about the bank's actions towards Trump media. That's according to Real Daily Wire, first reporting this activity may implicate numerous Florida criminal and civil anti-fraud laws and debanking prohibitions, as well as a breach of the basic fundamental duties owed to your banking customers. Here is the official letter, and it's signed by James Uthmeyer, Florida Attorney General. So we have that happening in the background. GOP pushing for the impeachment of judge behind Arctic Frost. Florida AG probing JP Morgan's cooperation with Arctic Frost as it debanked Trump. And we have this from Byron Donalds 24 hours ago on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo, former House Intel Committee Chairman, Trump Media CEO Devin Nunes spoke about Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation targeting Truth Social. Looks like we have Byron Donalds up front.
The movements of, and let's not forget, folks, yes, he's president now, but Judge Boasberg, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, and the Democrats wanted Donald Trump in jail. That's what they wanted. And they would go to any lengths, spy on any American, spy on any elected official in order to do so. When you use the Justice Department to spy and to wiretap and to track the movements of your political rival, that is un-American. That's why Judge Boasberg needs to go.
And that is Florida Congressman Byron Donalds with me on Fox Business's Mornings with Maria on Friday, calling for the House to impeach federal judge James Boasberg for signing off on multiple subpoenas to track Republican lawmakers as part of Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation, the same judge who also worked on the Russia collusion probe. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi revealing that Biden's Justice Department seized President Trump's official cell phone from his first term, and they issued a subpoena for the president's personal call logs as well as part of their Arctic Frost probe. Bondi did not say which phone carrier received the subpoena and if that company complied or challenged the subpoena. Joining me now with more is former California Congressman Devin Nunes. He exposed the Russia hoax 7 years ago on this program with me here while serving as the House Intelligence Committee chairman. Devin, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for being here today. You are also the chairman of the President's Outside Advisory Intelligence Committee, and we appreciate you being here. Can you talk to us a bit about what happened to Truth Social and Trump Media and Technology Group during this Arctic Frost investigation?
Yeah, Maria, thanks for having me. And one would think that Trump Media would not have been caught up into Arctic Frost at all, largely because, Maria, we just became a public company in 2024, and we were nowhere around in 2021 on January 6th. So why would Trump Media be subpoenaed at that time during this investigation? It doesn't make any sense. And furthermore, when you look at this, JP Morgan, should they have complied with this, knowing that we weren't around? They had to know that our company wasn't around on January 6th. We were never notified. Trump Media Company wasn't notified.
Now, what do you mean about? Tell me about JP Morgan. What are you saying about What are you saying about JP Morgan?
Well, when the Arctic Frost went after our bank records at Trump Media, that's inexplicable because we didn't exist. So what reason did they have to go after us? But I think furthermore, why did JP Morgan target us and not tell us? We're a Florida company. I mean, I can't believe this is not against Florida law, that it wouldn't be against federal law. But furthermore, during that time period, Maria, when we were a private company just going public, JP Morgan then debanked us at that time. Now, luckily enough, we had other banks in line, First Citizens, but right at the time that we were going public in early 2024, in the spring of 2024, right at the height of the campaign, we were trying to get our company that saved free speech, Truth Social, saving free speech, making sure that we all had a voice. At that time, JP Morgan inexplicably debanked us. And
now they're under investigation. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon confirms FBI Arctic Frost records under review for potential legal violations after Special Counsel Jack Smith subpoenaed records for 400 Republican individuals communications.
Several whistleblowers have come forward to Congress with records from Arctic frost. This is an investigation that shows Special Counsel Jack Smith and his team had 197 subpoenas that sought testimony, records, and communications from at least 430 Republican individuals and entities. Are you investigating Arctic frost?
Being a lawyer, I have to put out my disclaimer. My old law firm is on that list of targets because we represented the Republican National Committee and the Trump campaign and President Trump. And so we were among those targets. And so anything having to do with that, of course, I'll be recused from. But it is something that we are looking at. And just to cite the relevant statutes, 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242 concern violations of civil rights and conspiracies against rights. Even though I'm a conservative, even when I was a law clerk, I remember being extremely concerned about Fourth Amendment violations. I believe it is very important that people's civil rights and the presumption of innocence be maintained, and unreasonable searches and seizures are a violation of the Constitution, and we take that very seriously. Jack Smith's conduct, as I have seen so far, is deeply concerning to me, and there are professional and ethical norms that apply to lawyers and prosecutors. And I think some of those may have been transgressed here. So I cannot say exactly what we're looking at right now, but I'm deeply
But you are
you're
reviewing the Arctic frost records
I am
to see if there are any legal violations.
That is correct.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, baby. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Yes, this is bigger than Watergate, and everybody knows it. Arctic frost wasn't law enforcement. It was political persecution disguised as justice. Over 400 Republicans subpoenaed in secret. J.P. Morgan colluding with federal prosecutors to destroy Trump media before it even went public. CIA fingerprints all over the operation. And when Trump's pardons started flying, Obama suddenly appears warning about autocracy. That's not concern, that's panic. The establishment used Arctic frost to freeze out MAGA donors, silence conservative voices, and bankrupt Trump allies. But they made one fatal mistake. They got caught. Now Florida's pursuing criminal charges. Congress is investigating, and Trump's pardons are restoring justice. The deep state's weapon just backfired spectacularly. So here's the question for the comment section. Do you believe Obama's sudden warnings about democracy are because he knows Arctic frost leads back to him? Yes or no? Comment below. You can support real journalism. Check out our merch shop linked in the description because truth always wins.